You saw the title, so let's get into the video. So first, what you want to do is you want to find an image where your object is at the focal point. So basically what I'm trying to say is you want to have an image where the person of interest is in the center of your photo. And of course, you want it to be a JPEG file. So just follow what I'm doing. Second, for your video, you want to make sure that the video you're trying to take the movements from, there aren't any conflicting artifacts. So essentially, I'm using this video by Jersey Made Rich. He has a really good video because in this particular video, he's in the center of the video, he's at the focal point, and the camera is eye level, pretty much even with him. So you get a full body view from his toes to his head, and that is very optimal for the program. So what we're going to do here is we're going to download this video. And after we've downloaded this video, we're going to open our video editor. So for this tutorial, we're going to use Sony Vegas. So in Sony Vegas, there are some key things we have to do before we proceed with this. First off, we have to go to the properties of the project render. So here we have the width and the height both being 256 by 256 pixels, and our frame rate is less than 30. We also have a constant bit rate under 2 million. It could be 2 million or under, but the reason why we want this low bit rate is that when it's running the program, it won't be as intensive. So just do as I'm doing, width 256, height 256 for the overall framing of the video, and the frame rate should be less than 30. The custom bit rate, to reiterate, should be under or equal to 2 million bps. Now for the image itself, I'm using this picture of Joe Biden as you saw in the previous instance. You want to have the image in a 256 by 256 box. So let's just proceed with the actual code itself and proceed into the Google Colab. So just something before we move on, if I didn't mention this before, the image itself should be a .jpeg file, just to reiterate. Okay, so now moving on, in the Google Colab, first what we want to do is we want to connect to the Google Colab space so we can allocate RAM and disk space. Then we want to go to runtime, and we want to change the runtime type to GPU. So just click save, that we want to go to the left-hand side and click the file icon under files. There's this created space for sample data. This sample data is where we're going to use our image and video of interest. So for this particular instance, I've already rendered the Jersey Club section of Jersey Club Rich is dancing. So we're going to be using his dancing, and we're going to use the file of Joe Biden as the model. So basically, I put it on my desktop, drag and drop, put it into the sample data, click OK, and let's see what happens. All right, so over here in the sample data, we have both the video file and the image of interest. So from this point on, what we do here is we can go to the table of contents if you pay attention to the left-hand side of the screen. And we're going to go to the dependencies because we have to load the GitHub repository. So first, we're going to go to installation 1.1, and we're going to run all of these boxes. It's going to be a timely process. So let's proceed with this. So we ran the first box successfully under 1.1. Now the second box, it has ran successfully. And now under 1.1 clone I per core, we have to get the GitHub repository. So we're going to run this box under 1.1. Now under 1.2, we have to run this box over here. This particular segment, the Python setup, is going to be more timely processes. So we're just going to run it. And in this particular segment of the video, I'll speed it up. The Python setup has successfully completed. Now we move on to the 1.3 download as. Now this particular section, it's going to be a bit of a timely process. So run this block and you run this block, 2 blocks under 1.3, and just wait until they're done loading. The first part has finished loading, and now the second part is loading, and we're about done. So now we're going to move on to the run emotion imitation demo. So it's pretty quick. You just run this box and you run a second box under it, and now we're almost done. So this is the details of the configuration that has been written. You can read this, but I'll walk you through it. Now under run scripts, this first thing that you see here, you're going to have to click this box to run the script. Make sure you click it. We can go to the custom inputs. So just look at the table of contents. You can literally just click custom inputs. It will take you right to that section. Now we're about to get into the process of initializing the demo. So over here, model ID, essentially model ID, whatever you type here is going to be placed as the name of your file, your output file. So we're going to call the output file, let's just say 001 or something. So source path. Okay, so first let's go to the left hand side where the file icon is. Let's click File. Let's go under the sample data folder and let's copy the image that we're using. So we can click these 3 bullet points next to the image, File, and we're going to copy the path. So this path is going to be put over here under source path. Make sure you highlight the internal parts, keep the outer quotation marks there as they're appropriate, and you're just going to paste the path of the image for source underscore path. So remember, the image should be a JPEG. If you've been following up until now, then I'm sure you're not going to have a problem. So for the second part, the ref underscore path, reference path, this is where you're going to put your video. So do the same thing, copy the path of the video, the MP4. Remember, the video should be an MP4. And we're going to come here into this particular line of code and we're going to paste that path here. And like I said before, the outer quotation marks are appropriate and they should be left alone. Now this process is like pretty long. It depends really on how long your video is and other complexities. Yeah, let's just run this box and cross our fingers. Okay, that was a pretty timely process, but now it's done. So let's look at the final result. On the left hand side, under the file section, we're going to look at the I per core folder. Next, we're going to click on results. Then we're going to go to click on primitives. After that, we're going to click the synthesis folder, and then we're going to click the imitations folder. Now let's see what we have here. Files should be right here. Let me see. Yes. Okay, here it is. So it looks like it didn't take the model name, but it doesn't matter. Your file should come out over here. If anything, it should just be like mp4.mp4 or whatever, but the ending result should be under the imitations folder and under the folder that has that same name as your video file. But it should have like an extra extension. But let's just see the output. So let's download the file. You can get better quality, you know, if you do the proper cropping and you pay attention to like the frames and stuff like that.